As the Nigeria Basketball Federation battles to resolve the crisis of its forthcoming elections and the non-payment of allowances of the female basketball team, the Nigeria Football Federation is contending with the lackluster performance of the national football team, the Super Eagles of Nigeria. After the Super Eagles managed to avenge a miserable home defeat to the Central African Republic with a 2-0 victory in Yaoundé, Cameroun, tongues have again been wagging about the future of the national team coach, Garnet Rohr. The German, who lives outside the country, is constantly criticized over his player selection for international matches and his refusal to reside in Nigeria. While some sports analysts insist he must go, others feel he needs more time to build a better and stronger team ahead of the Qatar World Cup. Joining us now to discuss the Nigerian Diaspora Direct Investment Summit Sports Initiative, recently flagged off in London, the well-being of the Super Eagles, and efforts to ensure that the team qualifies for Qatar 2020 is Amaju Pinnick, President of the Nigeria Football Federation. Welcome to the show, Mr. Pinnick, and good morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, quickly, let's start with the chances of Nigeria, the Super Eagles qualifying for the World Cup in Qatar 2022. When we lost to Central African Republic, a country that cannot even boast of a functional stadium, a country that is listed 123, a country that has never won an away game in the history of a World Cup qualifying series. Nigerians were angry. Yes, we tried to make up for that loss in Lagos, in Douala, but many former internationals, Mutiu Adekoju, Julius Agahova, they've been criticizing Garnet Rohr. They think he's not doing enough. They don't understand why he will be a DHL coach, an absentee coach who just comes with a parachute to Nigeria occasionally, and they think that the Super Eagles, the way that team is now, that they are not doing well, and that we probably may not qualify. And that if we qualify, you cannot refer to the Super Eagles as presently constituted as a team that you can be proud of. What do you think? You are the man in charge of the Football Federation, and Garnet Rohr.
Thank you about that. First, we have a contract with Garnet to live in Nigeria, and he has not been antagonistic to that, and that is the truth. I'm not going to defend him when I don't need to defend him. But most of our players live outside the shores of this country, and that what we do right now is he is at the head of a monitoring team that monitors and talks to our players, that talks to their team, their backroom staff, their coaches, and because he is an ex-international, himself, he has a relationship with most of their coaches. These are some of the things people don't know, And I always want to believe that, and by God's grace, it is not negotiable, that we will not qualify. We will do our best in the enterprise of putting everything together and ensuring that Nigeria qualifies, because it's just one factor that unifies the country. It's just one factor that makes the country very happy. So that's why we are not leaving any stone unturned. The incident in Lagos was quite unfortunate because we never expected that would come. Even though we know it's football. My take on that is that our team underestimated the strength, the capacity, of the team from Central African Republic. It's like those days in Warri when Aussie College was going to play against Federal Government College. Aussie College never needed to train. We'll just go and beat them. I think that was the mentality. And they went, and when the game started, we'll score. At the end of the day, ball was hitting the post, hitting the bar, and the only opportunity they had is scored, and that was the end of the game. And that's what, in football, you pay for losing your chances. And it was a very deep loss for us. I couldn't sleep for days.
It certainly was. Well, it's happened before that Nigeria failed to qualify, and I do join you in hoping that that doesn't happen again. But we don't have much time. I wanted to talk about an interview that we had with the former sports minister, Solomon Dalung, that ruffled a lot of feathers, in which he said that sports is really lucrative, but the problem is misappropriation of funds and that the leadership in sports despise accountability. What's your comment?
Yeah, I think that's very pathetic, because you do not, at this level, you do not demarket or disparage a government or a system that gave you extraordinary opportunity to be a minister, you enable that government from behind. I give you an example. A month or so to the Olympics, S.A. Brume's dad was very ill. He needed to go for a surgery. He called me, and immediately I provided funds for him to go and do the surgery. S.A. Brume, I discovered that while I was the chairman of the Sports Commission. The father did not call S.A. because S.A. was concentrating for the Olympics. Perhaps if he had called S.A., S.A. would have been. S.A. didn't even know about the surgery till after the Olympics. That's how you help a system that you help to, that nurtured you to that greatness. So to me, what was his motive? There are so many things that are better left unsaid about the former minister. But you don't come to public space and start criticizing your successor daily, saying things that are not meant to be said. It's unethical, it's morally wrong. And I can tell you, let him pause, meditate, and take a backseat and ask himself a question. If sports was that lucrative, he was there for 3.5 years. What did he turn in? Under Sunday Diary, I'm not here to defend him. Relative stability, or if not full stability in Nigerian football, sponsorship coming in torrents, a lot of positive, better recognized, So I don't want to go into form of comparison because, to tell you the truth, there's practically no basis of comparison. I've worked with 3 ministers. I worked with Danagogo. I worked with Dalong. I worked with Sunday Diary. The beauty about Sunday Diary is that he listens to superior arguments. We fight. When I mean fight, he's the boss, he's the minister, but I also make him understand that, listen, I'm the chief technical officer in football to you. So anything you need to listen to in football, call me. I'll provide it. But you don't come to the public and start saying so many things that you're not meant to say. There are a lot of things that are left undone. We don't want to talk about the Olympics when the only medal that was won was in football. And that team was so criticized. You can recall that we got to the venue of the Olympics 8 hours to the commencement of our first game, and we won. And that was the only medal. There are a lot of things that have not been done, even till date, in that Olympics. So there are some people that we shouldn't take seriously. Because if you
you're saying we should not take Solomon Dalong seriously?
Because he said, basically what you would have asked him, I don't like talking about individuals, I like talking about issues. Issues that will bring about solutions. But not about killing myself over things that visibly we all know. Okay. That there's a motive. And what is that motive? Is it the sense of entitlement to that office? So I don't want to, there are so many things. Do you know why I was removed as first vice president of CAF? But I've never seen it. There are so many things I cannot say. But after my stewardship in football, there's a book that I'm going to write. Because it's truth. I don't begrudge anybody. I'm a Christian. If you read 1 Thessalonians 5:18, it says, in everything give thanks. That's the wish of the God. That's the wish of God Almighty. Because you must give thanks to God. Because if perhaps it didn't connive with people to remove me as first vice president of CAF, okay, I wouldn't have been in FIFA today.
Solomon Dalong connive with people.
There are so many. Listen, there are so many things that I said you are going to see in my book because I talked to all those people today. Okay. You should understand I'm in FIFA Council. Okay. So there are so many things that I don't want to talk about. But you see, let us concentrate more on discussing about issues. And the caliber of people that should discuss these issues are people that have patriotism, genuine patriotism for this country. That is the truth. Okay.
And not people like Solomon Dalong, that's what you just said here. Real quickly, what is this Diaspora Sport investment all about, number one? And what will be, the outlook? Now we've gotten more financing. How many % are we in now as regards funding of the Super Eagles? Before, so that national team, so that we'll get government hands off football.
You see, that is exactly what I have always craved from, not just in football, basketball, and other association. Once the government gives us that enabling environment, we will look marketable, we will look attractive to the corporates. And when the corporates come in, you won't be having all these problems of basketball, of Super Falcons, Super Eagles being owed. And I can also say that there are processes. For example, the NFF just received about 770 million that government approved some time ago. And of course, that will go into the under-17, under-20 team that we hold going to Tanzania and some to the Super Eagles. But after this meeting, we have a Zoom meeting with our head of marketing, our head of finance to look at that. But government processes might be slow because it's all about, which is very important at the moment. Then coming to your question about, at the moment, we should be about 75 to 80, but everything has to be seen in our detailed report. That's how we take the very objective, the very scientific, numbers in terms of our approach. But we are working very religiously, in ensuring that we get to that 100% self-funding. And let me get something right. 100% self-funding does not mean that government cannot intervene. Globally, even in the most civilized climes, government still intervene. What we mean 100% self-funding, for example, all our qualifying matches will fund. Under 17, under 20, under 13, our operations. But when it comes to World Cup, when it comes to Nations Cup, those major tournaments, if we look at what we have, if there's a shortfall of $1 billion, then we can request for an intervention. But that is what it means. Even in England, the English FA is about £25 million as grants from the government, which of course they put into youth development.
What is diaspora funding you're talking about here? This diaspora investment.
Because you have to take Nigeria out of the climes of Nigeria. You have to make people understand that there are Nigerians everywhere, with huge investment globally.
Amaju, before you go, we have just a minute. The situation in Warri. Because each time you come here, you talk sports, you discuss community issues. The Olu Ogemeatuashere III has done something about the Ologbo title, which he has reduced to a nickname. And it looks like Ayiri Mame has lost that position. But you were optimistic that they will resolve the matter as brothers, well, as father and son now. But that has not happened. Quickly, because we need to wrap.
No. At the moment, Ayiri is as ordinary as I am in the kingdom. He's a mister. And there's nothing that is impossible. I just believe that because our king has a very large heart. He's somebody that, like I told you, is ordained by God to rule. So it's not, anything can happen. But the truth is, at the moment, we are very happy with him. We are very excited about it. And I want to correct one impression that there is friction. There's no friction in the Warri land, nothing at all. Even as civilized and exposed as the English monarchy, there are still some dissenting voices.
But are you still in court? Are you still in court?
He's in court. That's why I don't want to, because it might be subjudice. He's still in court. But I can tell you, the Olufori owns A to Z of all the titles. And he has done what he needs to do. And everybody, 99, I say it every day, 99.99% are all supporting him. Okay. And that I can tell you.
Thank you
then
very
people
much.
were thinking about crisis in Warri. I don't think there's anything, our brothers.
That's another subject entirely. But thank you very much, Amaju Pinnick, for joining us on The Morning Show.